In the business world today, it feels like the only thing that's truly constant is constant change. New tech, new strategies, new org charts. But what happens when that pace of change just starts to outrun our ability to keep up? Well, that's exactly what we're digging into today. How to lead your teams through the sheer exhaustion of it all. And it really starts with a feeling I bet you'll recognize. How many times have you heard this? You've just gotten your team into a good rhythm. A new workflow is finally clicking. And then, bam, an email lands. The subject line, exciting new initiative. And you can almost physically feel the collective sigh through the screen. It's a feeling we all get, but the actual scale of it, well, that might surprise you.
Get this. Recent research shows that in 2022, the average employee went through 5 times more major changes than they did just a few years before. 5 times. So that feeling of being overwhelmed, it isn't just in your head. It's a hard fact. This isn't a marathon anymore, It's more like a series of back-to-back-to-back sprints with no finish line in sight.
So, this relentless pressure, this feeling, it actually has a name. And for any of us trying to lead through it, just giving it that name, defining it, is the absolute first step to getting a handle on it. And here it is, change fatigue. Now, this is not about people being anti-change or resistant for no reason. It's about human capacity. Seriously, think of it like a battery. Every single change initiative, big or small, draws power from that battery. And if there's no time to recharge, it just runs flat. That's when you start seeing the exhaustion, the apathy, the frustration. I really like how this quote frames it. At least one change project past your capacity. It's that tipping point, right? The one extra thing that pushes a person from coping to just checking out. They don't just push back anymore. They retreat, they go quiet, or they start looking for the exit. So how do we even get to that tipping point? Well, as you can see, it's usually a mix of things. It's not always one giant, massive transformation. A lot of the time, it's that death by 1,000 cuts, all those little tweaks and shifts that just wear a team down. Or maybe it's a history of failed changes in the past that makes everyone think, oh, here we go again, before the new thing even starts. Okay, so this is mission critical for any leader. Learning how to spot this fatigue before it completely tanks your team's morale and your project's success. Because the signs, they can be pretty subtle at first. And the impact is just staggering. During big transformations, a whopping 2/3 of employees say they feel burned out. Think about that. That's not a small fraction. That's the vast majority of your people running on empty. And that, of course, has a massive direct impact on everything from performance to well-being. Think of this table as your field guide. Look at how these signs kind of escalate. It might start small, with apathy. Your star performer is suddenly totally silent in meetings. Then you see the burnout signs, more sick days, deadlines start slipping. And finally, you get that open resistance and cynicism. When you see these behaviors, the takeaway isn't that you have bad employees, it's that you have exhausted employees. Okay, so we've defined the problem. We know the warning signs to look for. Now for the most important part. What can we as leaders actually do about it? Let's dive into the toolkit. It really comes down to these 5 core ideas. Think of them as the pillars for building a team that's way more resilient to change. We're talking plan, communicate, equip, manage, and foster. Let's break down each one. First up, plan. This is all about you being the gatekeeper of your team's energy. I mean, let's be real, not every single change initiative is equally important, right? By actually prioritizing and spacing out the big projects with something like a change calendar, you give people time to breathe. It's like you wouldn't ask an athlete to run 2 marathons in 2 days. So why do we ask our teams to handle back-to-back transformations? Strategy number 2 is all about communication, but more specifically, it's about shifting from a monologue to a real dialogue. I mean, just look at the difference here. A top-down announcement just tells people what is happening. That almost always creates fear and resistance. But a conversation? That explains the why. It invites questions, it builds a sense of ownership, and when people understand the reason for the change and feel like they've been heard, their anxiety just plummets. Next, you've got to equip your people. And this means more than just technical training on some new software. It's also about providing emotional support. Simple things like regular check-ins, just asking, hey, how are you really holding up with all this, can make a world of difference. When people feel capable and cared for, they start to see change as a challenge they can actually meet, not just some new threat they have to endure. This brings us to a huge one, managing the actual workload. Change takes a ton of mental energy, which means something else has got to give.
You can't just keep piling new transformation work on top of an already full plate. But the most crucial part here is step 4. Leaders have to model this. If you're the boss sending emails at 10 p.m. during a big project, you're sending a very clear message that nobody is actually allowed to disconnect.
And finally, this is the long game, fostering a culture of trust. This is about creating true psychological safety, where someone on your team can raise their hand and say, you know what, I'm struggling with this, without any fear of punishment. It's about turning managers into coaches, not just taskmasters. And please, don't forget to celebrate the small wins. It's like a refueling station that reminds everyone their hard work is actually making a difference.
So after going through all these strategies, planning, communicating, supporting, all of it, what's the one single idea that you should really walk away with? What's the core principle here?
It's this. It is really this simple. People are at the heart of every single change. Your brilliant strategy, your amazing new tech, your perfect process, it's all completely meaningless if the people who have to actually do it are burned out and disengaged. Every single strategy we just talked about comes right back to this one truth. So I'll just leave you with this question to think about. As you're planning whatever your next big initiative is, ask yourself this. Is the way we're rolling this out designed to build our team's resilience? Or is it just going to be one more thing that contributes to their burnout? Because honestly, the answer to that question will probably determine whether it succeeds or fails.